come with us to the back where the Wizard's Forge set up. This will be out there too probably because it's really the Wizard's Forge. That there I've got a video about, which is it is a wood-fired forge. And once again, I thought about it, I evolved, I looked up on YouTube various videos of forges and saw different ways. But this is an improvised adaptation of a commercially, there's a family that makes them in America, and I thought, well, I'd have a go. So this, I came in one Saturday afternoon, and literally this rapid prototype took me 3 hours to make, because I had the bricks, I had some of this stuff. This is not even fire bricks, but we did heat metal red hot. We've got a pipe running under here. You can just see the pipe. I improvised that. It's got holes which I cut with the grinder. See, there's holes all the way along, and that lets the air in. That one's blocked because you can have it blocked where you don't need it. And this old thing here is a hand. This was at the scrap metals. So I did a video on making this. It's up on YouTube if you want to check that out. But I've never shown it in the sun. And it needs a bit of drying out. We've had a lot of wet. This here is an improvised anvil, hunk of metal. As the gurus on YouTube say, you don't actually need a conventional anvil for most work. You can improvise with a solid hunk of steel and things like this. This is a tow bar, so that's good for forming stuff over. And so out here, the Wizard's Forge area, turn that radio down before we get a copyright strike. So this here, yeah, I'll turn on a light. So here is the improvised letter forge, and the idea here is that we can beat, we can hammer to get to do dimples in the side, faceted, and this is a hand process that I'm thinking, well, okay, you could have a little jackhammer thing, battery powered jackhammer, and that would be really cool. Give it great speed, and it'd be easier to aim it. So that's this here is once again anti-fragile. Instead of saying, well, all right, I have to wait until I get I bought one and can afford it. This, I looked around, what have I got? That was a wood splitter. So the sharp end of the wood splitter becomes, I just cut with that same cut-off wheel, those thin, lovely thin cut-off wheels. Boom, boom, 5 minutes each cut probably, and then cutting here and then sanding around. There's another kind of the flat wheel. They are really cool. I should probably demonstrate. Gives a lovely finish. That there is not completely finished rounding, but I'm not using it much. So this here is the way that I have been developing for, now what size? I've got 2 fonts here, and boy, you need to have holes and have it laid out, because otherwise it just takes 10 times as long as if they're just in a pile. So we're talking maybe Wizard's Forge, so a W. So I'll demonstrate the W anyway. Right, so here's a W. Make sure it's up. The number of mistakes I made on this one, I couldn't believe it. I had an upside down something there, and I had the wrong size font for that. I started with Forge and the big font, and then I forgot, and I was doing small font. But this is trials. You don't get hung up on making a perfect first thing. You just go on to the next one. The more you make of something, the more experience you get quickly. So somebody said fail forward fast. So this is a big hammer. It helps to have a really because then you can measure. It's a more measured thing. So usually one hit. See, so I got it wrong, and that's okay because I'm just doing a lot of prototyping. So then I put the first letter just lining up there, and I do. I'll do an I. It's very Moorish. You keep thinking, oh yeah, I better do. I could do this. I could do. Yeah. So that you have to measure. You have to be aware of what letter. You have to stamp it harder if it's a big letter, and softer if it's an I. I forgot to do it softer there. But basically, I'm developing a method so that there is. This is what I would call anti-fragile too. This is flexible manufacture to order, so you can say, right, we can do any words you like, as long as they're in Roman capitals. But basically, there are other ways, more expensive setups that you could have a computerized engraving machine and so on. But then you need high turnover, and it's no longer a craft. This is actually fun. Wow, that's a heavy stamp, that one. I stamped that heavy enough. Now an R. Let's do wizard. Yeah. So basically, it's sort of a part of the rapid prototyping is knowing when to say, right, the prototype is good enough. Ship product. Actually, this prototype here is one of the things. Some things just are easier than you think. Others take more. They have, no battle plan survives the first encounter with the enemy, as some general said, and so you have to adapt. This is surprisingly hard to do in a way that people looking critically can say, oh yeah, that's pretty, yeah, that's straight. See, that's as crooked as a dog's hind leg. It's going upwards. So possibly this means that my jig here, it needs to have a few fine tunings. Maybe this amount of play is too much, and I should pull these in, maybe with pliers, and maybe with a whole other method. But the idea is you adapt, you solve problems, you quickly look at what's to hand, what materials are to hand, and you use them, and you don't overthink, and you have fun, and you go in the flow. So I don't know how long it would now currently take me to make a ring like that, but I'm estimating, if I was just doing it, not talking, quarter of an hour, and that's finished. Oh, and so then I rub acrylic blue-black ink in, blue-black paint, rub it off, and you've got a ring. Oh, and of course I would hammer around, but that is actually quite quick when you get used to it. And by the time, and probably I should be looking at a bigger hammer, because I've done quite a bit of this in pewter, but steel is about 10 times as hard. So this, by the way, is water pipe. So it's old recycled water pipe, and plumbers will probably give you meters and meters, yards and yards of that stuff, or if not, cheap. So I really like the hammered finish effect, but as you see, this could be because you sort of earn the right, or you earn the ability to do some hand making by making other things very fast in an anti-fragile and very economical way, so that then you can relax while you're doing some of the hand touches. So there we are. I've done a bit of faceting, and that needs a bit of fine-tuning, and I will probably, I'm in the process of just this morning, waiting for my daughter, I started converting this hammer, ordinary cheap claw hammer, into a lovely one of these, but with a smaller ball at the end. So this ball pen hammer, you know, you do get them at garage sales, but I've never seen a smaller one than this. So I'll make it smaller so it'll do really deep little dimples, which can take quite a lot of hollowing, they give light and shade. So I think for my final trick, since we're talking ring making, I'll show you how I've learned one way to black, if you want to do a blue or black a ring. Now what we need for this, mat gas. Now that's another amazing flexible thing for the rapid prototyper. Trade flame this one, but somehow someone called it map gas, MAP. But it's one of these things, it's self-starting, so you wind it there and it's pretty hot. So you take your finger off, it goes out. So I'm going to heat in the little jewellery section here. I'm going to heat this up to nearly a dull red. And oh, by the way, these rapid prototype anvils I made from, of course, old railway line, and they are fun. Take quite a lot of grinding. So now I'm heating this up. This is actually a surgeon's one of those clamps. Basically, any little pliers will do. And see how it's going a straw colour, starting to go straw colour. And then it goes blue when it's a bit hotter, I think. So basically I'm just heating it up more or less till it goes sort of blue and a little bit of dull red, and then I'm going to dip it into vegetable oil. This is actually good quality olive oil, and it will put a coat on. And taking it out. And then basically that is has given it a black finish, which then can be just polished over so you've got black shadowing and shiny surfaces. But I won't do that. Some people actually like that grey-black effect. Oh, you can see what I haven't done there. That there is probably a remnants of the zinc coating on the pipe, so I just didn't do it quite far enough in. It'll be something like that, but that's the sort of thing you realize, you learn, and that's no problem. You just don't worry. You think, oh yeah, there's that, and then you solve problems, and you solve the problem, and you solve the problem, and you solve the one after that, and you keep going, and you go through the dip, you go through the I don't know whether this is worth it sort of stage, and then and you pull through to the other side. Oh yes, and we have here the Wizard's Forge. That's another little prototype, one of many. See how shiny steel can get, and it doesn't rust. Yeah. That's Peter, 1977, our wedding date. So that's an example of you can do something very personal to put on your ring. So we will be offering all of these and more on Wizard's Forge on Etsy. And I think thank you. And I just realised the other day that I have never appreciated just how many wonderful people have joined Wizard Workshops over the various videos, and so we'd love you and thank you. Cynthia's giving me some sign language. Please what? Please help.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, of course, please like and subscribe. They know that. They're going to subscribe for sure. They love me. So thank you guys, and 6,500 wonderful people, creative people, people who just want to watch and say, oh yeah, it's possible, and feel cheered up for the day. I get that. One of the most cheering things is listening to some old codger like me talking about how to beat the heck out of metal and turn it into things. Actually, I will demonstrate. I've been wearing steel everywhere. This is a steel wrought iron ornament that I made years. My daughter will remember this. We had it in our house truck, and I just found it recently again. I thought, hey, that's the sort of thing I want to do and forge. So, more to come, much more, I hope.